Okay, the next type of problem to look at is involves solving a formula for a variable. And here's the example I want to take. This one is maybe a little bit tricky. It's got one step in it that you may not necessarily think of right off. And so I think it's a good example to take. All right, here we want to solve this for q. In other words, you want to get q all by itself on one side with some other expression on the other side. That's what it means to solve for q. So I'm going to take this equation and I want to, first of all, clear the fractions is a good idea. Certainly don't want q in the denominator. So I want a common denominator to multiply both sides of the equation by. P, Q, and F, those are all different factors. So I'm going to need that to multiply both sides by all three factors. So I'm going to multiply P, Q, F on the left, and I'm also going to multiply P, Q, F on the right. Remember, you're multiplying by the numerator. When I multiply through on the left, I'm going to get P, Q, F over P plus P, Q, F over Q. And on the other side, I'll get P, Q, F over F. Okay, now that you have in that form, we can cancel out some factors. Take out P here. What I'm left with is QF. In the next term, we can cancel out the Q's, and we have PF. And then on the other side here, we can cancel out the F's, and we have PQ. So at this point, at least we've gotten rid of the fractions. Now we're trying to get Q all by itself, and unfortunately I have a Q on both sides. So what you want to do is get the Q's on one side and try to work with it that way. So I'm going to subtract this term, PQ, from both sides. And at the same time, I'll subtract PF and put that on the other side. So subtract PF from both sides. When you do that, you're going to get QF minus PQ, after you subtract that from both sides, equals the opposite of PF. Okay? At this point, we have two terms with Q in it, but the little trick we can do here is use the distributive property and actually factor Q out of those terms. So Q times F minus P, if you factor it out, I'll leave the other side the same. We get that. Now that we put it in that form, we can divide both sides by F minus P. If we do that, over F minus P, on this side we'll just have Q, and on the right side you're going to have the opposite of PF over F minus P. And that's fine. Now we've solved for Q, and you could leave it in this form. If you prefer to get rid of the negative here, you could go back and take that and multiply the top by -1, bottom by -1. That will get rid of at least some of the, or one of the negatives. When you multiply top by 1, you get PF. If you multiply F minus P by -1, what you end up with is P minus F. So you can either use this as your formula, or if you prefer, you can write as Q equals PF over P minus F. And that's probably the best answer.